show going, man.
Hurry up, hurry up! Hurry up! Hurry up!
Hurry up!
Come on now. We're going to have action soon. Right here. It ain't going nowhere.
Boy, yeah, you got some technique, boy. You ain't show me that this summer.
Hey, wild cat.
Ball at the 5, third down and 2.
That was bad.
Let's go have some fun, bro. We ain't got to talk about too much.
He wasn't playing the ball.
It's holding.
Cliff. The Cliff. How is that not called?
That ain't going to call a damn thing.
What is the delay for? He's standing right there.
He's taking a card out. He's a piece of paper.
It's that close? Dear Lord.
Hello and welcome. We're the Aussie Guys. I'm AJ.
Before we go any further, make sure, because Schepps is there, call his name out, because I have noticed that if you don't do his name after yours, that he gets a little bit antsy.
Really?
Yes. Have you noticed? Like a couple of times we've had guests on and he has made mention that, hey, did you see they didn't even worry about introducing me? So, go.
Mate, I was just going to...
Introduce him number 2 and I'm happy to be number 3.
I'm keeping a little private scorecard. I was going to keep you... All right, yeah.
Go.
Well, you've kind of walked all over my intro now, but Schepps, how are you doing?
Oh, so this is we're keeping this.
We are keeping this, yes. So I wanted to make sure that you were number 2.
It's on the record.
All right.
Record.
I'm doing good. How are you guys doing?
See, he's perked up straight away.
Yep.
Gee, how you doing?
All hyped up on pseudoephedrine. I'm great.
Spring has sprung.
Spring has sprung.
Beautiful outside.
Not feeling 100%, but the pseudo gets you through.
Is that a saying?
I don't know.
So has the bacteria in G's body as he's involved in some sort of sickness right now.
Oh, goodness.
Yes.
Is that on the box? Pseudo gets you through?
No, but it should be.
It should
That's
be.
the advertisement.
That's the advertisement. Hey, boys, NFL Kickoff. Yeah.
Oh.
You got to love it, unless you're a Falcons supporter.
Jeez. Can we just... You guys talk about it and I'll just sit here
Unless you're a Falcon supporter or a fan of any team in the NFC East, not the Eagles. So I was rooting for the Falcons. Also, I have a Keanu Neal share, so that kind of sucks.
Yes.
And I have 2 IDP leagues, and I have Keanu Neal in one of them. And I had the draft this year. It's actually the league we're all in together, 2 legit league. So it's very disappointing. It's the first time I was able to get my hands on him. But
I have a ton of I was actually going through this the other night with AJ. I have a ton of linebackers, do I not?
Yes.
A plethora.
Plethora.
Me and AJ sat down. We had to actually think about which ones to start over other ones. And then I've got a couple of very highly touted rookies that would be based in Chicago and LA. So, mate, my door is always open.
how about do you have Deion Jones? Is he one of your linebackers?
I may have Deion Jones.
Dude, he balled. He looked very good.
And
Deion
just
Jones.
quietly, I got to say, if Keanu Neal is done for the season, which he is, he's got an ACL, but with Keanu Neal done, Deion Jones is going to have to up the workload.
Yes.
Yeah?
Yeah.
More so than what he was already doing?
Well, look, I just think that he's going to have to... I mean, you had a top 5 safety standing behind Deion Jones, and now, next man up, I tell you, the next man up's not that exciting. And Deion Jones is just going to have to just... it's hard to say lift his
Cover
game.
more ground. He's going to have to cover more ground.
Correct.
I get what you're saying. I guess I misunderstood you. He's already on the field. He's just going to have to cover more area.
Yes.
He's going to have to make up for it. But, man, he looked good. Campbell played pretty decently as well, Devondre Campbell.
Did.
Julio looked good. Ridley was missing, absolutely missing. And Hooper was Hooper. And
Hooper is... Me and AJ were just talking about this before we contacted you, Schepps, and I just think we got to move on.
Oh, man, I thought he was going to be good.
He looks nothing like the guy that we saw coming out of college. Absolutely nothing like it.
Disappointing. And what about the Eagles? Aguilar had, 9 catches for 33 yards?
Yeah, that's a terrible average.
Terrible.
And the thing is, the thing that hurts his value, so a few people were, in some of the leagues I'm in, were saying, because I didn't start Aguilar this week, deliberately. One reason was Nick Foles. Another reason is Alshon Jeffrey, because Aguilar had his success last year playing out of the slot, and he's forced out of the slot right now. He did play some out of the slot, but he was mostly out of the slot, and he really needs Jeffrey to come back. He needs Wentz as well, I would say.
Right. Oh, yeah. I mean, but 9 catches. He got opportunities. He just did nothing with them, and their backfield situation's terrible. Ajayi, I watched the first half. I didn't even watch the second half because it was so boring. But he did nothing in the first half, and then I wake up, and he scored like 15, 20 points because he had 2 touchdowns. But he only had like 60 yards rushing. So Clement was underwhelming. Their defense looked good, though. Philly's defense looked good.
Clement had one big run. Basically, just the hole was that big, mate. Even Richardson could have run through it.
Speaking of, we were talking IDB players with Keanu Neal out. Did you guys hear that Joey Bosa's out this week?
Yes, you're stealing all my news. I've got it written down. So normally what we do is we do news. Just talk to the new Aussie guy for a second. And, this is the bit where I've got on my list Keanu Neal, torn ACL, but we've done that now.
Check.
Joey Bosa.
We talked about the Falcons game. How are we not going to talk about
before we move on, have you got down there, like, how foggy now is the catch rule more than it was before?
I was just going to ask Schepps what his opinion was of the non-catch.
I've calmed down a little bit.
Well,
we didn't do this last night, but...
To be honest, my opinion of the non-catch, it's not even going to have anything to do with the non-catch. It's going to have to do with Julio Jones's burst after his stop and go. Julio Jones, his stop and go used to be, it was crystal clean. But his burst, it looks like he lost not only 1 step, it looked like he lost 2 steps. When he would get you on a stop and go, he would fly out of it. And if you go back and you watch that clip, it looks like he's touching his right hamstring or his right quad. It was a very odd thing for me to see him just not explode out of that break. So when I watched that clip, that's all I could pay attention to, how shocked I was that he wasn't just flying up the field after that. I don't know. That catch was weird, but there was another catch earlier in the game.
That catch was weird. The catch is a catch. Yeah. It changes the complex of the whole...
Yeah,
mate,
but it's not easy, man. It's not easy for referees to watch this game and decide on. I mean, it's not black and white, Because how about that catch earlier in the game? I think it was a tight end who caught the ball, went to the ground. The ball hit the ground, but they ruled, and the ball moved, but the ball didn't come out, and then they called that a catch. If that was a catch, then Julio Jones's catch was a catch.
Now, hang on. Let's just point of order. So Julio Jones's catch was ruled a catch, and then it was challenged.
Right.
And overturned.
Right.
Right. So when you overturn a catch, okay, so it was called a catch on the field. When you overturn it, what you are looking for as a referee is overwhelming evidence that it's not a catch, correct?
Right.
So where's the overwhelming evidence that it's not a catch? I mean, if it's grey, then you can't overturn it.
But it's not grey. He has it pinned to his shoulder by the time he slides out of bounds.
I know, but if it is grey, at least...
But that's what I'm saying. There's not even any grey. How do you come up with that?
But this shit happens all the time. They drop the ball, not literally, figuratively. The referees drop the ball. It just happens. I've seen it. Trust me. I've seen them. Like I whenever it's in the referee's court, I expect them to make a bad call. Like when it, especially when it's for my team, I already think if it goes my way, then that's a bonus. But if it doesn't, I just expect it to go that way.
Talking about bad calls, there's someone who runs our offense that had a...
Oh my God.
It's hard to watch. And I saw you say that too, Schepps. You chucked it out there. It's hard to watch. Like the Devontae Freeman getting 3 carries and an attempted reception, and then the last play, which could have won us the game. What was 3 throws, 3 targets to Julio? Now, granted, one was sort of aimed towards, I think, Hooper, and he got a defensive foul against him, which gave us another opportunity. But the ball to Julio that went over his head, that should have been on point. That was a bad throw. He was open enough to catch that ball. But the very last play of the game where Ryan gets the snap and his head turns directly to Julio. Like, the dude's 2 guys covering, if not more. And if you look at the top corner, you have Tevin Coleman split out wide. Inside him is Calvin Ridley. Ridley does a beautiful chip block and opens up Coleman. And Ryan's not even doesn't even look anywhere else but Julio. And that's play calling, just throw it to Julio. A guy that has been, would it be fair to say, extremely poor when being targeted in the red zone? I saw a stat today, and he's like zipping 20, his last targets for scoring touchdowns. But if you look at the top one, it was beautiful chip and wide open. Didn't even look that way. But, that's probably just a Falcons, supporter.
I feel like now that it's becoming like a thing, it's going to just be so much harder to get over. You know what I mean? Like it's like sometimes like issues like this that are created, like now it's a mental hurdle for the offensive coordinator and for the offense.
And for Matt Ryan, yes.
Yeah. So
we've gone back to the pre-Shanahan days of getting in. We move the ball beautifully inside the 20s, get down to the 20, inside the 20, and the Falcons' offense is a deer in the headlights.
This is the first time I'm thinking of this, but there is a solution, and he is sitting at home on the couch right now. He is the best wide. Like I would take, and this is not just coming from the Cowboys fan. There's probably only 1 or 2 other players I take inside from the 10 over Des Bryant, and one of them's Rob Gronkowski.
Well, he's your number one.
Des Bryant he can't do what Julio can do from the 20 to the 20. But when you get in the red zone today, I would take him over basically 95% of the NFL.
Fair point. Now,
moving on.
Let's move on. So, a couple of things I just wanted to mention on top of that was Piers Carson Wentz is a few weeks from starting. Alshon Jeffrey is the same. Also, Hayden Hurst is out this week for anyone who's sort of planning on starting him, so we're going to be waiting a little bit on him. But you also mentioned Joey Bosa, who's out versus the Chiefs. But let's get to the main event, and we are going to... Now, this is sort of similar to what our standard format will be, but it's week 1.
It's week 1. And
in previous years, we have not necessarily done a week 1 pod because everyone's starting who they're starting. Like, you've got your lineups, and you're not you're playing your best
You're starting
guys.
your guys, aren't you?
Yeah.
Because we have no idea of how things are going to look.
And it's not
how
a time
teams
to
are going to pan out, how they're going to be structured.
Yeah. And it's not a time to be fancy.
No.
Like, don't get cute. Start your starters, start your studs, and don't outthink it.
And we'll work
Don't
it out
mess
from
up the
there.
cha-cha. Isn't that what Herm Edwards used to say? Don't mess up the cha-cha.
Right.
You know?
Exactly. So... We, in previous years, have not necessarily done kind of our standard start, sit, weekly pod, but we're putting this out with a little bit of a week 1 flavour.
Not chocolate and vanilla mixed together flavour.
Rocky Road. Well, no, it is chocolate and vanilla.
Oh, is
it's
it?
precisely that because... No.
You know what I think about chocolate and vanilla mixed together?
Throw some sprinkles on top of that, man.
No, because week 2 is Rocky Road, right? Week 1 is like... You go chocolate and vanilla. You want to get out of here?
Just go your basics.
You go your basics.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
I get it.
That's right.
Right up Schepps' alley.
Oh man, I had chocolate and vanilla today.
Oh.
I kid you not. With the chocolate. Yeah, with the chocolate hard shell. And I learned from my buddy. This was a special move I learned from my buddy. So I got the chocolate hard shell on the chocolate and vanilla in a cone, and then I got a cup of sprinkles. So as I started to eat away at that hard chocolate shell, I dipped my cone in the cup of sprinkles. Boom. Now I got sprinkles on my ice cream.
So you're double dipping your ice cream into the sprinkles?
Into a sprinkles cup. My own.
No,
personal
your own?
sprinkles cup.
Okay.
Yeah.
I don't know. It might be a big box
No,
of
I'm not.
sprinkles and everybody comes out of it.
I'm not reaching into. I'm not going into the ice cream stand.
Just wondering.
No, personal cup of sprinkles. It was actually a good idea. I recommend that.
Nice.
Look, I'm all for the chocolate dip vanilla. That's not too bad. But it's when you mix the vanilla and the chocolate, you go one or the other. Come on, make your mind up.
And so that's our new segment, Ice Cream Flavours. We'll be doing this weekly. And let's move on from ice cream now to... Now, the first thing we're going to go is seasonal calls at each position. So that's a very boring name. Seasonal call. But basically what we're saying is, like, normally we kind of do, like, start, sit kind of guys.
Well, this is a once-off.
This is a once-off.
This is not the big call. The big call is a big call.
Yeah.
This is a call on each skill position.
It's sort of a
year.
big call.
It's sort of a big call, but not like mine was.
Not an outrageous big call.
Not like that.
It's just like a brave big call.
Yes.
Yes. So, big boy pants on, Schepps. You want to give us a brave quarterback call 2018?
Can I make a brave one and then like an even braver one? Can I make two?
Sure.
Chad Kelly takes
One's
over
never
for Case
enough.
Keenum in Denver.
That's pretty
well, but this is
brave.
also going to make up for some of my non-bold ones. And Phillip Rivers wins the MVP.
Ooh, there we go.
Nice.
I enjoy that. Well, my big one on the quarterback is Pat Mahomes will be a top 5 in touchdowns,
Top 5?
but will also be a top 5 in interceptions.
I could see that.
Okay. Fantasy-wise, that'd be gold. As long as your league doesn't
As long
penalise
as your
too
league
much
doesn't-
for interceptions.
I find that I'm in a few leagues this year where they do penalize.
SFP.
So I got like you have to like watch my back in these leagues because I'm throwing out I can't just throw out guys that are just chuckers, So I kind of had to tone down my Pat Mahomes, but I'll talk more about Mahomes later. I like those, G. I like them.
Nice.
AJ, who have you got?
I've got Eli Manning as a QB1 this year.
You can see that from who he's got to throw the ball to,
Precisely.
without a doubt. But can you see it from the guy that's actually throwing the ball?
No, but he's going to...
Okay.
The weapons and the addition of Saquon Barkley, that's going to benefit Eli not only because he's going to dish out to him a little bit, but then also takes the pressure off him. Yep. There's an actual running back in the backfield. So I think QB1, top 12 QB for Eli.
G, are you writing these down?
No, we've all got them.
Okay. Well, but I lose this stuff. I throw this stuff out. I know one of us needs to track
Well,
this
hopefully
stuff.
AJ's recording this, mate, so we keep it.
We also have to track our predictions from last week.
Yep.
No, G's got those.
I've got all
Get
those.
back.
I've got all those.
Good.
We're all
So these belong with those predictions.
Yes,
all
I
right.
do.
So
Running
moving
back.
on to running back here.
Yes.
You want me to go first again?
Yes.
Please.
Matt Breida outscores Alfred Morris. This one's kind of boring, but it's true.
Well, see, that's what happens when you mix chocolate and vanilla. We get the chocolate of Phillip Rivers being MVP, and now you give us the vanilla because you mixed them together. If you had it gone all chocolate, this is what happens.
No, it's a decent call. It's fine. Gee, you go.
Okay, mine is, this is why I texted you this morning just to find out if you'd had Zeke as yet. But I think Zeke will have 2,200 all-purpose yards and will lead the league's running backs in total touchdowns.
Okay.
Oh, I love it. I hope you're right.
So do I.
I'm on board.
I've picked him up everywhere.
It's ambitious, but I'm on board. Mine
I just mozzed him.
comparatively boring. I've got two, actually. I said Kenneth Dixon will be an RB2.
Well, before I go on, they
Yep.
just say that in 2016, he had 1,992 all-purpose yards and 15 rushing TDs and 1 receiving TD. So it's close. And I think they're going to use him a lot more this year.
He's a phenomenal pass catcher. He doesn't get any credit for what he can do as a pass catcher because no one's really seen him do it because Scott Linehan hasn't been calling it. He's going to have to do it. Similar to what we were saying about Deion Jones having to cover more ground because Keanu Neal's out. Well, Ezekiel Elliott is the opposite on offense. He's going to have to cover more ground because their passing game is missing pieces. Jason Witten and Des Bryant are gone. So Zeke is going to have to do more, and he will.
He will.
You know?
He's very, very capable. Yep. All right. So I said Kenneth Dixon will be an RB2.
Excuse me, capable. You've described Zeke as capable. It's a little bit better than capable.
You know, you were walking, you know how they have those revolving doors? You were walking out of the door and then you were just like, hang on, just another thing. And you walked back in the building and then you're doing it again.
Yeah.
Just so you say things sometimes and thinking...
That's a good comparison. I like that.
Okay.
That's a good.
So shut up.
Let's gang
So,
up.
Oh, shots fired. All right, we're getting off course. Let's reel this thing in.
and my other call was Aaron Jones, who I think will be the RB in Green Bay when he finally gets on the field. And I think he's going to be a PPR RB1 this year.
Ooh. Okay, that's huge.
That is.
All right, Schepps, give us the wide receiver.
John Brown will outscore T.Y. Hilton in PPR.
What?
Oh, mate, I was almost going to put down T.Y. Hilton is going to have the most receiving yards of any wide out this year. And you've come with that.
John Brown. I mean, I don't know if I believe it, but I've been hearing some, I've been hearing some buzz about John Brown coming out of Baltimore. I'm hearing some buzz about Flacco, kind of picking it up because he's got Lamar Jackson pushing him. So it kind of sounds like a recipe for some big things. So I'm just going to go bold here, and I'm going back to chocolate or whichever one.
That's definitely
the
chocolate.
One. And John Brown will outscore T.Y. Hilton.
That was chocolate dip chocolate.
It was.
With chocolate sprinkles.
Yes.
You put it all on there. AJ, do you want to go second? Because you can cut me off.
Revolving door. Mm-hmm. I reckon Tyrell Williams is going to be the wide receiver to own in LA from an ADP point of view, because obviously Keenan Allen is the dude, but he's going to be quite expensive to own fantasy-wise. But Tyrell Williams is going to be fantastic. I'm not necessarily a Mike Williams believer. And I think Tyrell's going to pick up the slack from obviously Hunter Henry's absence. Yep. And Antonio Gates is just a glacier. If he was a glacier last year, he's even more of a glacier now. He's been sitting on his couch for the last 5 months. I mean,
probably sitting on the beach.
No, look, comparatively speaking, fitter than us.
Oh,
okay,
just a little.
But the guy is just like moves like an old man.
Yeah,
he really does. Anyway, Tyrell Williams.
Excellent. Okay, I've got that Brandon Marshall will lead the Seahawks in TDs this year.
Wow.
I think he could easily see 100 targets, 800-plus yards, and 10-plus TDs. Well, if you think Jimmy Graham, when Jimmy Graham was there, he had 57 catches on 96 targets for 520 yards and 10 TDs. And look, they never... Mate, it doesn't work because he was brought in and to help block as well because of the offensive line. And we all know Jimmy Graham can't block, can't block someone on Twitter, let alone someone on a football ground.
They don't have Luke Wilson now either.
And they don't have Luke Wilson.
No.
What's his name's gone?
Paul Richardson.
Paul Richardson's gone. So there's a ton of targets.
Yep.
Van Eck will be someone else as well to just keep an eye on there. So,
man, I hope Vanette does something because in the Too Legit League, I am losing tight ends left and right, and I had to start Vanette.
They really like him there. They really do, and this is his chance, his opportunity to showcase what he's got. So I'm thinking that when you look at Jimmy Graham, he could easily get more than 300 yards more.
And what do you make of the Doug Baldwin thing?
Well, that's another reason. Baldwin, he said, what is he? He said,
85%.
How do you know you're 85% fit? I don't know how you judge a number on how fit you are.
Like not 86%?
Not 86
or 84%?
So there you go. That's my call on wide receiver.
All right.
And you probably could go out. Marshall's probably still available in some of your leagues. Maybe not your bigger, deeper leagues.
Yep.
But we had a 14-team last week, didn't we?
We did.
Draft.
Yes.
And he was still available on the waiver wire at the end, which he went and got picked up. But it wasn't me, unfortunately.
Interesting.
I was a bit slow, but there you go.
Brandon Marshall. Good waiver wire prediction. But anyway, Schepps, tight end.
All right. I got Ricky Seals-Jones will finish as a top 10 tight end.
Oh, I like that. I've got him in a few leagues.
Yours is very similar to mine. Shall I go next?
Yeah,
then?
you go then.
I had the SJ brothers. So Austin Seferian-Jenkins and Ricky Seals-Jones, ASJ and RSJ, tight end ones this year.
Perfect. I like it.
ASJ, man, that is such a good situation because, look, Blake Bortles is it polite? I think it might be polite to say he's an average quarterback. And, he is going to feed ASJ. He really is. Like, obviously they've got Keelan Cole we love, D.D. Westbrook we love, but, ASJ is going to do some great work underneath, I reckon.
Liking it.
Nice.
All right.
He's a dude. He can get it done.
Well, I was talking about Jimmy Graham before, so I'm going to talk about Jimmy Graham again, and I have him that he will lead all tight ends in touchdowns this season with Aaron Rodgers in Green Bay. And we've already seen...
And I have to give you credit because, you've been singing that all off season.
Yep.
You haven't changed your tune with that, so you're backing it up.
Well, they don't need him to block. The offensive line in Green Bay is good enough. They don't need him to do that. He will be a part of the receiving core, and that's the way when he was at his best is when he was at the Saints. And I see that coming with Rodgers again. We've already seen a glimpse of it, didn't we, in the pre-season? So with the catch that Rodgers found in the back of the end zone in the perfect spot where Jimmy Graham loves it, and that's it.
Man, if anyone's gonna put the ball in the perfect spot, it's Aaron Rodgers. He's a phenomenal. So Jimmy Graham, if he's going to have a career revival, it's going to be with Rodgers. The only reason I slighted Graham at all this year was because I kind of jumped on Martellus Bennett when he went to Green Bay, just thinking, Martellus Bennett has skill. He's playing with Aaron Rodgers. Boom. And Aaron Rodgers hasn't really had a good tight end, and I just thought he was going to blow up. So I kind of was low on Jimmy Graham because of that. But, let's see. We could see it happen. As long as, Green Bay doesn't do phenomenal things this year, I'll be okay with that, because I'd hate to see Green Bay go to the Super Bowl or win big this year. I don't want to see that.
Okay, so let's move on to the next segment. Shepsy, AJ's jumped out, left up to me to host. This is not part of my pay
Your
structure.
contract?
No, it's not part of my pay structure, but I'll be putting in for a bit of overtime.
That moves me up to co-host.
It does.
Yeah, so we're going to have to talk about this.
Okay, so that we've got what we call the popcorn watch. So this is more based on just, you're going to sit down on the weekend. It can be players, it can be a team, it can be watching what a coach does. It can be anything you want about football this week, how the referees throw for the new helmet rule, whatever it is, mate. Just give me a list of about 3 things that, and unless you have more, of what you're looking at watching this week.
Man, my first one is the clear-cut, popcorn-grabbing watch for Week 1. It might even be for the NFL season. And that's Odell Beckham going against Jalen Ramsey. Ooh. That's like, I want to see that. I would pay a ticket. I would pay a fee to go, and watch this thing one-on-one if they were playing at the park up the street. I want to see the Sass God, the Sass Queen himself, the leader of the Sass squad, Jalen Ramsey. I want to see him go up against Odell Beckham Jr. That's going to be interesting. And then, number 2, I want to see the Rams defense. They are loaded with talent. Let's see how they put it together. We got Marcus Peters out there. We got Ndamukong Suh, Aaron Donald. So I'm interested to see that star-studded defense. And then number 3
I was going to say, before you move on, mate, that's a room full of some decent-sized egos, isn't it, now?
Alpha dogs. Alpha dogs.
But not
alpha
just,
dogs.
And all have a very high point of their own opinion of, it's just going to be really interesting how they keep it all together.
Peters might be a problem because that guy's definitely a knucklehead, but I think Sue's in the back end of his career, and he's been around a few organizations, so maybe, he will understand his role and kind of be more of a veteran perspective, and hopefully so for the Rams.
And what about Talib? What's he like off?
Oh, man, him too. I forgot about him. Him and they're knuckleheads, man. If they start losing, it's going to be a problem. But my number 3 is Zeke with an exclamation point. That's, as a Cowboys fan, that's what I want to see also. Zeke, well, you can make that Zeke / Randy Gregory because he is healthy and he's an animal. And he's going to make our defense – he's going to add dimension to that defense. So I got Odell Beckham versus Ramsey. I got the Rams defense, and I got Zeke and Randy Gregory. Those are my 3 things.
Beautiful.
Okay, I've got 3 things as well.
Go.
How's that?
You're going to go second all the time now because I just don't want to interrupt you anymore. And it's okay if I interrupt you like I am now when you're second. You just don't like it when you're third.
Honestly, don't mind. So I've got 3 things. So it's sort of like this week and also the whole season, but Gruden versus McVay this week. But it's
I've got Johnny Gruden on my list.
It's a John Gruden thing. Now, the Rams are definitely in the conversation for potential Super Bowl, right? Playoffs / Super Bowl conversation. I'm not expecting the Raiders to win, but what I want to see from that Raiders team is a different style. I want to see John Gruden's effect on these players. I want to see some discipline. I want to see some heart and some enthusiasm and some teamwork. That's what I want to see. And I think it's going to be fascinating because John Gruden and Sean McVay are good friends. They've got a bit of background, history and stuff. The families are good friends. And I just want to see, let's see the old master up against the young new master. The up-and-coming. Sean McVay is so impressive as a head coach, isn't he? I mean, So I'm looking forward to that.
No, I really like that. Before you jump in your set, because I've got John Gruden on mine, and for different reasons. It's more about the reception that he'll get with what happened with Khalil Mack.
Yep.
From the Raiders supporters. How he calls the game from a play calling point of view.
Yes.
And just for the cameras to get his demeanour on the sideline, because we know what he's like.
He's great, actually.
It's
very
probably
entertaining.
actually, if you get onto YouTube and look up like when they're mic'd up, his is probably probably the best like compilation of mic'd up with the refs and stuff like that. It's fantastic. But just on a side note, also the use of Geordie and Lynch under him.
Yes. No, totally.
He's like, he's kind of, when you said the old master versus the new master, just made me think of like Dr. Frankenstein. It's like, is his creation going to come to life? John Gruden. Everybody's been scrutinizing it all off season. Is this thing going to come to life in his own particular special way?
Yeah, exactly. I'm looking forward to Josh Gordon. So, there's a lot of mystery around this guy. We know he's uber talented. I just watched Hard Knocks episode 4. They interviewed him. He was there. I'm on the sideline. And, he had that sort of time away, which is kind of weird. It's like, come on,
that was
just
very
get on
weird.
with it now, dude. Get on with it. And we just want to see this talent on the field instead of just getting wasted. It looked like it was getting wasted, and maybe this is the last roll of the dice. In a way, it feels like.
Nice choice of words there. It was just getting wasted because he was getting wasted.
No pun intended.
Can I add another player to that? Can I add Antonio Callaway?
Yeah.
He's starting. I'm interested to see him alongside Josh Gordon. Because he's another dude who could just waste his own talent, but he's starting week 1, and I don't think they paid prime price for Antonio Callaway. Michael Irvin loved him at the combine. Michael Irvin was gushing about him at the combine. So I'm sorry, I'm gonna add Antonio Callaway to that. I want to watch him.
Well, look, me and AJ must have been using the same brain because I've got the Browns offense as one of mine as well. But just the whole offense. What are you throwing your arms up in the air for?
It's very funny because I did Josh Gordon, right? And then, Schepps, you raised Callaway, and now you're raising offense.
He's all in.
I've got the whole Browns team.
I've got the whole... No, not so much the defense as such, but just the offense, with the additions of Taylor, Landry, Hyde, the return of Gordon. I wrote down here Callaway, Nick Chubb.
Yes.
Like we've seen Nick Chubb in glimpses, and he looks fantastic. He's got great vision. He has got great vision. So it's more just how competitive this unit looks this first game out.
Yes. Dude, that was my third one, is the whole Browns team.
Okay.
So including the defense, which I'm jacked about. And I love there was this moment in Hard Knocks 4 when Hugh Jackson walks over to Jarvis on the sideline. This is during, preseason game 2 maybe it was. And just
Hugh Jackson's vanilla.
I know he's vanilla, but he went over to Jarvis and was just like, listen, you're the leader here. You've got to pull these young guys in. You've got to show them, and you've got to show them how hard you're going for the ball, and you've got to teach them and stuff. And I thought, well, that's very true.
Yeah, but that's pretty basic coaching 101, though, isn't it?
It is, but...
That's what I mean. It's a bit vanilla. Every coach probably says that too.
They probably do.
You want something that's almost more personal.
Maybe, but I think Jarvis is going to respond to that. But anyway, who else? What did you...
Well, two of mine are gone with Gruden and the Browns, which we agree on. But So the other one I have down is I just want to see what Patty Mahomes looks like this week against the Chargers D.
So Patty Mahomes was in number 1, and now he's in number 2. It's a trend. We're sensing a trend. The first when we were talking about the season call on players.
Oh, okay, yep.
So he made his debut in this episode there, and now he's headed into the 3 things to grab popcorn for.
Yeah,
maybe this is a trend. Maybe this is a trend, though. He might be there in number 3. We don't know.
He might, Anything else to add before we move on?
You got to look at the defense he's going up against.
Sans Bosa.
It's tough.
Except Bosa's out now, so that's... Ooh.
Yeah.
Can I throw in an IDP bonus? Can I do that?
Yes.
Isaac Rochelle. If you need a defensive end from Notre Dame, drafted last year, He's starting in place of Joey Bosa. I'm personally starting him this week. If you need a defensive end in an IDP league, go pick him up because I guarantee nobody's got him. It'll only be a spot start, but until Bosa comes back. But there's a play right there. I'm sorry. Go on.
No, man, that's fine. But I was just going to say, we're looking at now. Mahomes has a little escape tunnel. He knows which side to run to now if he has to. Like you're not. So
they got a good line. They
do have a good line, but look at the weapons he has at his disposal too. Like, my God. So it's just going to be an interesting watch. So yes. Yeah, Paddy gets in there twice. Maybe I shouldn't have done that. Maybe I wasn't concentrating when I did the two. But there we go.
It's cool.
It's cool.
Paddy's on the brain.
Now, the next segment is, we're going to do like a start and sit, but instead of that, we're kind of doing who we're nervous about, because you're going to start your studs, but who are you nervous about in week 1 in particular? Schepps, do you want to start us off?
Patrick Mahomes. I'm nervous. I have him everywhere.
That's a fair call.
I'm nervous to watch him against the Chargers. I'm excited to watch him because it's been a long time coming. You know, we've been talking about this cat for a while. He's definitely a dude. I want him to succeed like I want my child to succeed. I like the guy, and I'm nervous about him. I'm nervous about Deshaun Watson because I want to see if he's healthy. You know, I want to see if he could do it. If you remember from last week on the Bold Predictions podcast, I predicted that he's going to fall off. And that comes from nervousness. I'm afraid he's going to fall off because I own him some places as well. I don't want him to. I just fear that's going to happen. So I'm nervous about Mahomes, Watson, Kerryon Johnson. I'm nervous about how the Lions are going to use him. The guy's a dude. He deserves to get the bulk of the touches. He could run. He could catch. He can block. He can do it all. He deserves to be treated like a back who can do it all. But do I believe the Lions will treat him like that? No, I don't believe that. So I'm nervous about him.
But Blunt's the guy at the moment? He's number 1 on the depth chart. They're going to start with Blunt.
Stupid.
It's not real, though. Is that real?
We'll see.
It might be.
Maybe they'll ease him in.
That'll tell you how to judge Matt Patricia. Matt Patricia, my buddy. Maybe I should give him a phone call later.
Dude.
Yeah. The last guy I'm nervous about is Evan Ingram. He's another guy I'm highly invested in. He's a little dinged up. I want to see if he can get the job done with Odell, back and healthy. He's going against a tough Jaguars defense, and again, he's a little banged up. So I'm nervous. Those are the 4 guys I'm nervous about: Mahomes, Watson, Kerryon, and Ingram.
Coming off his second concussion, Evan Ingram as well.
Yeah, true. Gee, fire away.
Oh, I've got a few actually. I've got Nathan Peterman just for the fact I'm nervous about his health. If he's going to be, mate, he might be waking up tomorrow not knowing what happened today, basically. So that's just a bit of tongue in cheek. OBJ against Ramsey. You spoke about, Schepps, what you want to watch.
That's primetime TV right there.
Yeah, because we saw how Ramsey got underneath AJ Green. The cool, calm, collected AJ Green got underneath his skin last year. OBJ's already come out and said, "Look, that's not going to happen to me. I've got my head screwed on a little bit."
That's an invitation, isn't it?
Yeah. And look, they're actually Ramsey didn't call out OBJ. I think he actually said he was one of the, he's good.
Really?
Yeah, he's not in his bad pile which is an ever-growing list of people that suck in the NFL.
He's funny, man.
Yeah,
he's funny.
So that's that's a little bit of a nervous one for me because he's going to be your number 1 wide receiver this week. But you start him because he's OBJ.
You have to.
Yeah, of course.
You have to.
And then I've got a few other guys, sort of fringe guys. Like if you're in deeper leagues, I've got Cameron Meredith. There's not so much do I start him? Do I not start him? Tre'Quan Smith has looked really good, and mate, they're raving about him down there. Does he get the second look? But there's Ben Watson, and I don't know how much they're going to use the backs. Do you really want to use Kamara, like just run him into the ground for the 4 weeks that Ingram's out? I don't think so. Their season's a long one. It's just Meredith is just one of those guys. Do I put him in and get nothing, or do I?
What is he?
We don't know. We don't know. Yeah, exactly.
He had a great year in New Orleans. Then he got hurt. I'm sorry, he had a great year in Chicago. Then he got hurt. Now he's in New Orleans. Now he's the number 2 to Michael Thomas. They got a rookie wide receiver who could be jumping Cameron Meredith at some point. What is he? What do they think he is? How are they going to use him? Is he healthy? because it's kind of been a little foggy with him. So I completely get that.
Yeah, and the other guy I've got in the same sort of boat is Jordy Nelson. Like I could easily see, Gruden in the past, he's had a number one wide receiver that he's absolute just carpet bombed, hasn't he? Basically, just time after time. But Jordy Nelson's one of those guys. Like again, we've got some pretty deep rosters and some deep leagues, and it's just like, do I start him in week one? Like, what else has he got to throw to? It's a little bit of a nervous. Can
I add a player?
Yeah.
Can I add a player? Do you guys mind? I know I'm cutting you off, AJ. He might be on your list. What about James Conner? Are you guys nervous about playing him?
Not nervous at all. I'd play him in a heartbeat this week.
Yeah?
Yeah. I think he's looked good.
So say you were in a PPR league with some friends and you had to choose between you had to pick 2 and 3. James Conner, Corey Davis, and Will Fuller. Which 2 are you picking?
I'm picking Corey Davis and James Conner.
Easy, man. Well, I'm a little nervous about that, but I'm going to do it.
Okay.
Yeah.
So another one I've got just down here is Tyler Lockett. Like we're talking about, mate, who the hell is Wilson throwing the ball to? Tyler Lockett, unless you play in a league that gives you points for return yards, which we have one league like that, and he scores every week, and he doesn't have to do anything as a receiver. Just the yards he racks up doing that. But it's sort of like the old Mother Hubbard, when Wilson goes to throw the ball, the cupboard's going to be pretty bare. So do you go, okay, Lockett could be a guy, or he might not? It's just
tricky.
It's a trick. Yeah. Do you play him as a flex, or do you not play him as a flex? He's sitting there. You know that Baldwin's hurt. We know that Marshall, who I spoke about, but he's older. Do you know what they're going to do with Vanette? The backfield's like, my God, is either of them any good? Really?
On the returning kickoff thing, here's a hot take, or not a hot take. Jabril Peppers is returning kickoffs for the Browns. So,
really?
Yeah, if you've got him in IDP and you're in a league which gives you yards for kickoff returns, hoo-wee, that could be very nice. Cheat
Man,
code.
the Browns are going to be exciting. They're going to be fun to watch.
They are.
You got any more? I've just got one more, just a quick one. Mike Evans goes up against Lattimore this week. And,
How about
thanks to Randy, who put up a stat on Twitter. So at Memphis, he had 1 for 13 week at DFF Memphis. Thank you, Johnny. 1 for 13 week 9 and 5 for 55 in week 17.
Okay.
Oh, so he's climbing.
All right, now I wrote down Devonta Freeman, obviously before the game. I'm still remain nervous about him in the Sarkisian lack of offense. He's not being used the way this guy needs to be used. It's kind of crazy, right? So I'm nervous about him longer term. I'm nervous about Joe Mixon. It's the Marvin Lewis factor. Mixon is primed, and he's talented. We want to see him flourish, don't we?
The line looks better.
Yeah. We want to see him flourish, and he should, but it's just Marvin Lewis is the thing that I think could be, the fly in the ointment in regards to that.
Very good.
Yeah, that's it.
I agree.
Okay, so...
I'm starting him, though. I have him in a
Of course. I'd be starting him. It's a nervous watch, right?
Yep.
So, the last segment we've just got on the books is a waiver wire prediction. Now, obviously, the Sixth Sense... Well, it's not so... I mean, mine, I don't know if you'd call them Sixth Sense. So, waiver wire prediction... Schepps, you want to head us off?
All right. My waiver wire prediction is Darius Jackson. He was picked up from the practice squad. Cowboys cut him. We're hoping to get him on the practice squad. They cut him, I want to say, his rookie year, which was 3 years ago, and fans were up in arms because they were hoping to get him back on the practice squad that year. Cleveland signed him. Then I believe he tore his ACL in Cleveland, and he was looking to get some touches. And then they released him this year. Dallas got him back, and then they cut him again, and hoping to get him back in the practice squad, and Green Bay claimed him. And not only did they claim him, they put him on their active 53. And he's a solid build. Like, he looks like an every down back. He does everything pretty well. So I wouldn't be surprised if Darius Jackson impresses, and Aaron Rodgers likes him. If Aaron Rodgers likes him, he's going to be the back play in there. There's guys there that could take over the job, but no one has seized the job yet. So it's out there for the taking, and it could be Darius Jackson. So he's my 1 week prediction, and then also Chad Kelly, especially in Superflex leagues. I don't think Keenum's that good. I think Chad Kelly is an exciting player. I think he could be a point scorer if he gets an opportunity, especially with the weapons they got out there in Denver, man. With the rise of Deshaun, Cortland Sutton, you already got Demaryius Thomas, Emmanuel Sanders. So I think my two guys are Darius Jackson and Chad Kelly.
Come with
Very
two.
nice.
I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6.
What?
Got about 9.
Wow. I've only got 2.
I've covered the positions.
You are serious? But this is just meant to be a quick pod.
Yeah, okay.
Anyway, go on.
You want me to go first?
Oh, no, I better, because you've probably got mine and yours anyway. And mine are
Well, you know what that
boring.
means? That means he's going to cut the show, and then he's going to just have you read and make you think that he's recording it.
That's right. Look, I don't know if mine even fit the bill now that you've gone super deep, Schepps. So mine, I just said Anthony Miller. So I think that he's, especially if you're playing redraft, and I don't know if he's on a lot of redraft people's.
Yeah, with Dynasty, I just figured I went from a Dynasty perspective.
Yeah.
And most players are rostered, so that's where I was looking from.
Yeah, and I think redraft, he probably isn't rostered, and I think he could have
We cover all the bases here at Aussie Guys, don't we, AJ?
We do.
Not just Dynasty Schepps, just giving you a heads up.
Next week, I'm gonna go hammer straight redraft.
No, you don't have to. I'm just saying. Now, and the other guy I wrote down is Cameron Meredith, speaking of which, because I think that there is that unknown, and I think it might actually be a bit of a slow burn until we see how that whole situation sort of pans out with Traquan Smith. And there's some word that Cam Meredith is going to play out of the slot, which I think would be really super interesting, because obviously Traquan's not a slot guy. So I think that could work heavily in his favour. So could be interesting. And because I actually put a question out to you guys this morning, because in a league I've got Tyrell Williams, who I'm quite high on, but Cam Meredith is just sitting on the waiver wire right now. I could pick him up right now. It's just a very small bench. And so when you're in a redraft league with a fairly small bench, you kind of sometimes have these dilemmas of like, oh, should I do it? Like, it's so tempting to.
And what you'll find, it always happens, is that a guy that you were interested in, you go, oh, no, I'll wait. All of a sudden, everybody's onto him next week.
Yes.
And that's what we're trying to do here.
And suddenly you're
trying
wasting
to get you a week ahead of everybody else.
waiver dollars.
Yep.
Yeah.
So look, I've got a few, but I'll take one from each position. So I've got Jalen Samuels. Now we don't know what's happening with Bell, and there's James Conner, who's looked fantastic, but Jalen Samuels he can do everything. And we spoke about him, I think, last week, didn't we? Oh, you can put your hand up.
I just want to interrupt. I'm just going to throw some shade on Ian Rappaport, because when I woke up this morning,
a clown.
You know what he had? This is clickbait, Schepps. You tell me if it's not. So I wake up this morning, and I always grab my phone, and you're like, for those first 30 minutes, you're kind of bleary-eyed and you're not kind of thinking. And Rappaport had this thing like, Le'Veon Bell probably going to report Saturday, right? So I'm like, ooh.
Huh.
So I click on it, and it's like, he's got no sources. He's just like, well, it might happen. And it's like, you idiot. He hasn't heard it from anybody. It's just a guess. Like,
that's what
come
he
on.
does.
And if he's wrong, he goes, well, I didn't say it was a definite.
He doesn't
I said
care. He doesn't care if he's wrong. He's getting paid. When Des Bryant was up for his contract, he had this whole thing out that there was some video out that he had access to, and that was going to come out. Des was going to get suspended. He was fighting with a girl in a parking lot of a Walmart. Like, all these details, never. So every time he says a clown thing, I just tweet at him. I'll copy his tweet, and then I'll say, what about the Des tape? Always. Dude, where's this Des tape that you were talking about 5 years ago that you all of a sudden, after he got signed, never talked about again? You know, where is it, you clown?
I mean, it's pure clickbait to say Le'Veon Bell's coming Saturday. That's clickbait. Come on.
He could be coming Saturday.
No, but...
Mate, everybody, I could put that out.
He didn't have any information.
No, I could put that out, though.
Of course.
He could come Saturday. He might not.
Garbage.
But he
Anyway,
could.
I interrupted you that time, so you keep going.
No, that's all right. So I've got Jalen Samuels, just with everything that's happened on with Bell.
Nice.
Who knows what's going to happen there? And with, obviously, I said Connor's looking pretty good, but Jalen Samuels is someone to keep an eye on. Some other guys, I had Rod Smith and John Kelly, just guys that might be floating out there, just purely based on the fact that if the guy in front of him, Zeke and Todd Gurley, goes down, bang, the straight in there.
Add Spencer Ware to that?
Add Spencer Ware, yes. He's probably still floating out there as well. I've seen him in a few leagues, actually, Spencer Ware. And in our league with 14 teams, and he's still on the waiver wire.
Yes.
So, at QB, I said Josh Allen, he might be the second half starter in the first week. After I spoke about with Nathan Peterman. At wide receiver, there's a couple of guys, Traquan Smith, who I spoke about, could be a guy still floating out. I think I picked him up in a couple of dynasty leagues, to be honest, which is quite unusual. John Ross.
Yes.
Could be a guy that's floating out there. Maybe go and grab him now. It looks like there's a little bit happening with him this year. That let's just forget about that first year.
Yes.
You know, I think when you come into the league with a 40 time that you put up, there's more expected out of you than everybody just expects you to be this dynamic down the field guy. But he's a lot more than that.
He is.
He's a very good route runner. He's got a great set of hands. The offensive line's better. Give Dalton more time to throw the ball. We know AJ Green's going to be absolutely blanketed nearly every week. So John Ross might be a guy. And I just put down here one of your guys, mate, Cole Beasley in the PPR. He could lead Dallas, the Cowboys, in receptions this year.
It could happen. Oh, yeah.
And look, he's still out there in a lot of leagues that I've noticed.
Loves him. Dak loves him some Cole Beasley. You know why he loves Cole Beasley? Because Cole Beasley is where he's supposed to be.
Yep.
Right.
And
that
Dak
red hair stands out. The flash. I suppose you can't see that with a helmet on, but... And then at tight end, I have Vernon Davis. Now, we know all about Jordan Reed's injury past. Not just his injuries, but also his concussion past as well. So, and the connection between Smith and Vernon Davis from the 49ers. So, he's probably still floating out there. Jake Butt at the Broncos, because the Broncos have been looking for a bloody tight end for God knows how long, since Peyton Manning and Julius Thomas. And the other one we spoke about at the Seahawks, which is Seahawks. Sorry, is Nick Barnett, who they absolutely love. And as I said, there's the target share is pretty wide open in Seattle at the moment.
Sure is. Okay,
that's it. Done.
That's it.
I got through them pretty quick.
You did well done.
That was pretty good. That was pretty impressive.
Well, gents, thank you so much. I said to you at the start in our sad pre-production meeting, I said, let's keep it tight, let's bang this out. You guys have come to the party, which has been fantastic. And the NFL is here.
Oh, here we go.
Can I just add one player? I'm sorry, I'll be very fast. I thought about this. It took me all episode. You know, one of those things that we want to grab some popcorn for? Shaq Griffin. I want to see him in place of KJ Wright. I want to see him. I think it had to be said. I know this isn't great for trying to keep the episode clean, but I think we should all watch this guy and see, is it for real? You know, because me and G were talking about watching Jared Stidham versus UCF when we were watching Stidham for that draft circus. And Shaq was all over the field, man. If he could bring that same style of play to the NFL and get the job done, man, he is going to be a dude. I'll hand it back to you. I'm sorry, but I'm grabbing popcorn for him.
No, I like it. And he is for real, for sure, you know. I think it might... KJ Wright's coming up to a contract, potentially, I think, at the end of this year, and it might be an interesting situation. I mean, I think they keep him, but Shaquem Griffin, got the wrong Griffin... The Griffin brothers there look, you can watch the Griffin brothers. Watch that Seattle D, but Griffin is going to be fantastic to watch for sure. I like it. All right, gents, well done. Bang. First one done. We punched it in the end zone just like the Falcons don't.
Yeah. Oh, my God.
Sorry.
Thank you. It's going to be a long year. It's going to be a long year.
It is. Well done, guys. And... football's back, which is fantastic, and we will get stuck into, from next week, obviously get stuck into our normal style of things with start, sit, waiver wire things and Twitter questions and that whole deal. So enjoy Kickoff 2018, everybody. Last minute thoughts?
Enjoy. Get some wings, watch the games, have fun. It's what we've all been waiting for. You know, take it in.
For sure.
Yeah, I was waiting until yesterday. Now I'm not waiting anymore.
And the Raiders play Monday Night Football, so in a way, I actually don't mind that because I get to watch all those games and sort of do it without having a heart attack. And then Monday night, so I kind of get my pain at the end of the week. You've already had yours, G. So
I hate Monday night. I hate when the Cowboys play Monday night. Ugh, I hate it.
Yeah, it's that national stage thing, which is sort of like...
And in New York, man, it's like if the Cowboys play bad, I will only hear that for the next 6 days until they play again. So I literally, all I listen to is sports radio. I won't listen to it. I'd rather drive in my car with no music on at all than listen to somebody bash the Cowboys for,
Yeah. Better off just listen to those voices in your head, Sheps.
There we go. There we go.
Exactly.
Yeah, it's called G on the group on the WhatsApp chat. That's that voice in my head.
Yeah. And listen, I'll give another plug for our predictions pod. If you haven't listened to that, that's a great thing to listen to at the start of the season. You can get all of our hot takes, all of our drops for the season that are all wrong, and but that's a perfect primer for the whole season as it stands. So,
what about the Draft Circus series? We got Will Greer blowing up. People are talking about him now. Me and G were all over Will Greer heading into this season, and I think he threw for like 480-something yards last week, and everybody's singing his praises. So you might want to go back and listen to the Draft Circus series as well, because we were on some of these players. Get you ready.
For sure. Okay, let's put a bow in this one, guys. Thanks so much.
You're welcome.
It's a beautiful Saturday afternoon out there. The sun is out. How nice.
Spring is here.
And Sheps, you can grab your little Dak Prescott little teddy bear. Hop into bed.
Good night, Sheppy.
more like my Dak Prescott voodoo doll, depending on how he plays this year. We'll see.
That's right. Okay, thanks, gents. On behalf of Sheps and G, thanks for listening, everybody. Catch you next time.